In 2014, our goal was to educate and inspire the next generation of young Black leaders. Today, we are in search of the best to reveal the secrets to success. Our belief is that we should teach the young early the things that we learn late. Our lives are shifting the culture. Our lives are changing the narrative. These are the ShineHard conversations.
He is the founder of ET Enterprises, a portfolio of brands that grossed over $26 million in revenue in 2018. He's a young CEO, yeah. He has been featured in pretty much every publication you can think of. He's been named top 100 most influential African Americans by The Root. He was also named Forbes 30 under 30. He, most recently, which I was very impressed and shocked, that he was a 29-year-old commencement speaker at the graduation for Shaw University, HBCU love. Make some noise if you went to HBCU. So that was awesome. You guys, please stand up and make some noise for my guy, Mr. Everette Taylor. What's up, man? Welcome to DC.
Thank you, man. It's been a while since September 2017 since I've been in DC.
What were you doing here in September 2017?
I came here for your ass. For the ShineHard conference. Yeah, I don't get out to DC. I don't get out to DC very often. I'm from Richmond, so when I'm usually around these parts, I'm headed to Richmond, unless you want me to do something up here. So, yeah.
I'm glad I could be the connect in DC.
For sure.
That was good. So, do you remember the first time that we did an interview?
Yeah, it was in my apartment in 2015, yeah.
So I pulled up to his spot in Los Angeles. This is when I first started ShineHard back in 20-something, 14 or whatever. And I had a backpack, 2 GoPro cameras, a flimsy little tripod, and a clip-on mic. That was my whole production team. I was like, action.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with Everette Taylor in Los Angeles, California.
What were you thinking?
What was I thinking then? I was like, man, he's tall as shit. And probably could use a meal or two. No, I'm just joking. Nah, man, I really appreciated you taking a shot and wanting to cover me. Like, I'm still shy as hell, like even being in front of you guys. That's why when I came in here, I was like looking down and like, I'm naturally an introvert. And so, 2015 was really the first year, despite doing all the things I had done thus far, that people had just started to kind of recognize me and things like that. And you interviewed me before like Forbes and all that other stuff came about. And so I just really appreciated that you had the vision and you saw the potential and that you wanted to take the time to come all the way out to LA to rock with me. So I appreciate it.
Our production budget is slightly higher now than it was then.
Just a little bit.
Now we're live at Google. And honestly, it's just been a manifestation of a clear vision and learning, relentless work ethic, which I know you know a lot about. And people see you online and they might not really know your story, but talk more about where you're from and when you first got introduced to marketing and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I'm from Richmond, Southside Richmond, 804. Yeah.
804? I'm from the 804 too, sorry.
Yeah. So I'm from Southside Richmond, and the first time I really got introduced to marketing was probably, to be completely honest, is like people hustling just in my neighborhood, whether it's the dude that came into the barbershop selling scents and fake Jordans and all that, or the guys that was hustling on the block. Like, those were the first people that I really saw that like kind of understood marketing on some type of level, even if the product wasn't something that I supported, or like fake Jordans that fall apart. So that's really my first experience, but my real experience was when I was 14, I started working for a company called Eastern National. So Eastern National is a nonprofit that runs a lot of the gift shops and bookstores in the national parks. And so I became a marketing associate for them when I was 14. I went into the interview, And I must have an old ass face because they thought I was like an adult.
35.
35. Baggy face ass. But yeah, so I go in there, go in and do the interview, and I think for a lot of us, we don't really know what our talent is or our gift is. And I was blessed to like discover marketing as that thing because I went into that interview not really knowing what marketing was. And when, you know, coming out of that, I was like, man, this shit was easy. Like, you know, this was something that really came natural to me. And I got introduced to entrepreneurship because during my sophomore year of college,
Where'd you go to school?
Virginia Tech.
Yeah. And Stacy probably remembers this. I had to drop out of school in the middle of my first semester sophomore year, and I went back home, and I was like trying to apply for jobs and different things like that, and no one was really giving me an opportunity. I created a fake LinkedIn, and I think I told you the story before.
Yeah.
I created a fake LinkedIn with a white dude named like Billy or some shit like that. And I sent it out to 10 companies that didn't give me an opportunity, and 7 out of those 10 companies, you know, gave me a response. And so, you know, for me, I was like, you know, what do I do? And like people who know me from tech, like I was like the party dude my freshman year. And so I was like, yo, let me start doing parties myself. Like I had a guy, a friend named Dre that was doing parties and different things like that. And so I kind of knew how to get people together.
I feel like promoting parties is like an entrepreneurial rite of passage.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, for sure. And so what was so interesting is I took that, and it was these 2 guys that I lived in Pritchard Hall with my freshman year of college that were engineers and developers, and we created event ticketing software, so similar to Eventbrite, and then also a platform where people could upload pictures for events and things like that. And so we built that out, and we were able to sell that company a couple years later. And that allowed me to go back to school, you know, pledge, do all these different things. And so that was really, really fortunate for me. And that's how I kind of just got into the whole entrepreneurial thing.
So following Virginia Tech, I know that you've had a journey working for different companies leading up to where you are now. What were some of those companies or opportunities that gave you a training ground for where you are today?
I mean, obviously Eastern National because it was the first opportunity. I would say, so I sold my first company, and then I went back to school, and anybody who knew me at Tech knew I came back to school with a Porsche. And I blew through a lot of that money that I sold that first company for. And you know, I went back to school for a little bit, for a year and a half, and then I realized that a lot of the people, no offense to anyone that goes to Tech, UVA, whatever, the normal route was to graduate, get a job in the DMV, you know what I'm saying, work for the government, work for whatever, and then just kind of like hopefully work your way up. And I don't mean this any disrespect to anybody, but it's just kind of like the normal path of like a Virginia Tech graduate and things like that, or to go back home and XYZ. So for me, I was like, well, that's always going to be there. The DMV is always going to be there. The government jobs, the whatever, that's always going to be there. I really want to try my hand at at entrepreneurship again. And so I got an opportunity with a guy by the name of Sean Ellis. If you guys ever heard of growth hacking or growth hacking marketing, he's the guy who created that. And he gave me the chance to be head of marketing for his startup.
Wow.
In California, and he was like, I can only pay you $40,000 in California. And it was a struggle. I lived in like an apartment.
Everyone's couch surfing in LA anyway.
And it was crazy. Well, it wasn't in LA, it was between Orange County and Silicon Valley.
Okay.
I had an apartment. It's so funny because the first place I got this room in this beach house. And like I felt like I took a picture, I still remember, I put it on Facebook, and I was like standing in front of this beach house. But really I had like 3 roommates. And you know, everybody's like, yo, you out there, you got a beach house, you killing it. I'm like, yo, I'm broke as shit. And I ended up moving out of there after a couple months because it was weird. And and I didn't really get to enjoy the beach because I would wake up and, you know, it was still dark outside. I would get to the office early, and then by the time I got home at night, it was already dark, and so like the whole enjoying the beach thing just didn't happen for me. And anybody that knows California is like, the weather's overrated, it's actually chilly.
So it actually rains in California?
It does every now and then. But anyways, so I moved into an apartment. It was like $900, and like I could literally open the door from my bed. It was crazy. Gerard Carmichael has this joke, like, you know how well you're doing in life from how far your bed is from your front door. Yeah, I can lean over and open that shit. But anyways, it gave me the opportunity. It gave me the opportunity to run marketing for a startup, a venture-backed startup, and be able to, know what it meant to really have KPIs, key performance indicators. I didn't know anything about data. I didn't know anything about any of that type of stuff. And really being held accountable to different things. I really learned about the different facets of marketing, from paid advertising to social media marketing to content marketing to all those different things in there. And that was really the thing that kind of, taught me the ropes.
Got it. So I know you just saw that Jay-Z just hit $1 billion in net worth.
Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting is that a small percentage of his portfolio was his art collection.
7 million ain't small.
Yeah, 70 million ain't small, but to his thing is kind of small. But anyway, how does that affect the way that you scale RX? So how do you feel about that? What does that tell you?
I mean, right now, to be honest, there's like black art is, first of all, like black everything is just hot right now.
We are culture.
Yeah, we are culture. We've been culture, and now we're finally just starting to get recognized and financially benefiting from being the ones that are really moving and shifting culture. And when you talk about Hope, his music catalog is worth $75 million, and his art is worth $70 million. Which is crazy, it's only $5 million more. It's just an amazing time. And so one thing I recognize, especially within the black community, is that I would get into these art spaces, and there was like the white people that, no offense, I love y'all, well, the ones that are with the culture and support us, and anybody not really Kardashian or shit like that. There's a lot of butts, but I rock with you. It was like weird because the people that had the Kehinde Wileys and the David Hammonds and these big major black artists, they were white people. Like, these are the people that had, the major black artists in their collections, and it wasn't us. And they're over here like literally building. You think 70 million is crazy? Some of these art collections that some of these people have are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions. So. And it's all off of black artists, off the back of black artists. And so for me, I was like, man, that's an issue here. And I want people that look like me, or anybody that's interested in this space where a lot of people don't get access to be able to easily discover artists. And so right now, it's in its infantile stages where the actual platform that I'm really about to bring to shake shit up is not launching until later this year. But right now, it's a platform where we're spotlighting different artists. We're providing them with free tools and paid tools to help them throughout their careers. We're giving out we just gave out our first few scholarships to artists, which really is just coming out of my pocket because we're not generating a lot of revenue for that company yet. But
hey, how many of you guys have seen When They See Us on Netflix? It's hard to cheer for that because it's riveting, infuriating. Some of it was just hard to watch, to be honest. But I have to give credit to director Ava DuVernay for telling a brilliant story about the Central Park Five. I think she really illustrated the inner workings of the criminal justice system here in America and how minorities are marginalized and unjustly incarcerated, right? I think we all know that. But what stuck out to me is that the video content is so powerful in 2019. I mean, Netflix has 5 billion a year. YouTube has, I think it's like 1 billion users a month. It's just so much crazy video content, but like when you saw When They See Us, like how did that make you feel? What are your thoughts around the Central Park Five?
Man, that's a very deep question. well, I feel like a lot of people didn't know about the Central Park Five before, and so for me, as someone that knew about it, that had Ken Burns as a historian, he does a bunch of different documentaries. I saw the documentary by Ken Burns, so I was very familiar with the story, but to see it acted out and go through that range of emotions was really tough. I think episodes 1 and 4 probably for most people.
So hard to watch.
It's tough. Episode 1 and 4 was really tough for me to watch.
That was the interrogation when the kids got brought in and the parents weren't there and they were just pressuring them to give these false testimonies. It was brutal.
And, you know, I think about how many situations, like I sold drugs when I was young. I've been in situations and places with people I didn't have no business being with. I remember my freshman year of college, the first time I came home, I got in the car with some of the homies and I asked them if they had anything in the car, yada, yada, yada. They were like, no, like, stop being you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, get in the whip. And so I get in the car and we're riding and then police comes behind us and all of a sudden you see them, oh, yo, move, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I ain't gonna say the word, but I was just like, oh my God. Anyways, we get pulled over, they tell us to get out of the car, they're about to search the car. The cop is searching me and he's like patting me down, he goes in my pocket and he pulls out my Virginia Tech ID. And he was like, you go to Virginia Tech? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm a Hokie, or whatever. And like their whole demeanor changed. Like that could have been a rap for me. Even though I wasn't doing anything, I didn't have anything in the car. Like I was 18, that could have been a rap.
It's like that humanized you in some way.
Yeah, it humanized me in that way where he was like, you know, stay out of trouble, da da da, and he let us go. But there was guns in the car, there was drugs in the car. And that could have been a wrap for me. And so when I was watching that, that's all I could really think about was like, yo, I could have been in a situation where I didn't really do anything wrong and could have been put away and my life could have been changed forever. And I think being able to create content, to kind of get back to digital marketing, be able to create content that evokes emotion like that can literally impact so many people. It felt like it was amazing to see so many people get moved at the same time. And if you're creating great content, if you're creating great ad campaigns, you can do that as well.
Now, the YouTube trailer had me sold. That's all I needed to see. But when it comes to creating video content, because that seems to be, when we get back to talking about the algorithm, what Instagram and Facebook want to see, they want more video content. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, so it just seems natural that you should have a business channel if you have a business, or if you're an influencer, you should have a YouTube space just so you can be searched and found more frequently. Why do you think video content is so powerful, and where do you see it going? I mean, everyone has a cell phone, right?
Honestly, I'm worried about us as people. I'm not to get all like philosophical.
Here you go.
But people don't want to read. And that's why video is so popular. People don't want to read. Like, I see stuff go viral all the time where it's literally just not true. Like, I love Beyonce just as much as the rest of y'all, but there was like this report that Beyonce made like $300 million or something crazy off of Uber. And like, everyone just spread it. They didn't like read or try to find out whether or not it was the truth.
It was written on social media.
It was written on social media, so it was the truth. I see people get upset about articles and like they don't even read the article. Like people don't read.
I've seen that before too.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
People literally don't read, and I think that's why video at the end of the day is so powerful. Is because people don't like to read, and people have very short attention spans. I think the thing is that places like Google, YouTube, Facebook, they literally have data scientists and people who are dedicated to understand human emotion, the way humans act, how to literally get you addicted. Like the reason why you're on YouTube, no offense to Google, but the reason why you're on YouTube and you get stuck is that they have literally optimized that experience for you to stay on YouTube longer, right? And so video is so powerful, one, because of attention spans, one, because people don't like to read, and like it's just like the number one source of people, how people are consuming things now. And so, of course, these platforms are going to benefit those who are creating content in that way.
And I have to actually co-sign for YouTube because I've learned and taught myself a ton of new skills from watching YouTube videos. I learned how to build a website for ShineHard in 2014 by watching YouTube. So I am a visual learner, so I can appreciate YouTube's visual nature. But for those of us who are video creators or content creators, let's get back to a practical approach. What are some ways that we can create better content in brief?
I think investing in yourself is extremely important. Like, yo, if you still got that iPhone 5, let it go. Let it go.
Get you a Pixel.
Let it go.
Get a Pixel.
Get a Pixel. I heard it's great. I heard they give it out free to speakers too.
And sometimes coaches.
Yeah. Oh man, I have something. I can't say that here. But anyways, I lost my train of thought.
Just investing in yourself.
Yeah, investing in yourself, making sure that you have the right things, and materials that you need. You know, investing in a camera, investing in. I mean, you can do so much on like a Google Pixel or a Google Pixel, and that is very, very high quality. And are y'all looking for influencers? Because you know. I'm not signing with any iPhone company. I mean, no phone company. So I don't mind green text.
On video content,
I don't.
I would say the audio quality has to be on point. That's one of the most important pieces of a video content is can I hear you clear? Have you invested in your audio? 2, keep it short and sweet. Get to the point. People's attention span is so short. If I can't understand what your video is about within the first 10 seconds, I'm probably going to keep scrolling or go find something that's more on point with what I'm looking for. And lastly, know your medium. YouTube videos can be longer. Instagram videos, not so much. Maybe stories are your better platform. You just have to know your medium, and I think that's the best way to create good content. But I want to transition to
But there's actually data that shows that like if you don't capture somebody's attention within I forgot how many seconds.
7 seconds.
7 seconds. Yeah, that's a legit thing. And then the one thing I will want to put on top, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not a big video content creator. Like we contract that stuff.
I love stories. I'm not so much on my feed, but I'll create the hell out of a story.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say, the advice that I will give is like. Creating video content can get really, really expensive. And again, if you haven't built the audience to send that content out to, it's like, if you haven't built an email list, if you haven't built up your social media following, if you haven't built some of these things up, what's the point in spending a couple $1,000s to create a video when it's not gonna reach people? You know, that just genuinely doesn't make sense. Like it makes more sense to create. One of the things that I learned at Skirt was like if you create a video ads perform very, very well. And if you create that and if you can do that cheaply, instead of spending all that money into actual video production, right? Putting that money into ad spend and actually elevating that post, you're gonna get so much more results out of that. So create videos for cheap as possible and then use that money, that extra money that you didn't spend in amplifying that content.
Awesome. Hope you guys took some notes on that. We're running out of time, so I want to get to quickly the mindset of an entrepreneur, some of the ShineHard staples that I ask. I know we talked earlier about legacy and being so proud and honored to do the work that we're doing to in some way take the baton further than it was handed to us, or having the next generation be able to stand on the shoulders of the foundation of the work that we're doing. I'm extremely passionate about creating spaces like this, whether it's activism, marketing, economics. Those are my passions, and I continue to work in that space because I know my passion will take me closer to my purpose. So I always ask my guests when they come on my show, what is your passion and when did you know?
I think my passion now is peace of mind. And a lot of the things that, you know, we aspire for and things like that, wealth, like people say, you know, money doesn't buy happiness. Wealth or like financial freedom does create peace of mind. Being able to find work-life balance provides peace of mind. Being happy in your situation and happy what you're doing on a daily basis creates peace of mind. So I'm just very passionate about things that bring peace of mind to me and my own happiness. For so long, I sacrificed peace of mind, happiness, self-care, health, mental health for so long. That's the thing that I'm really, really passionate about in those things. But outside of that, it's really giving back to others. And that's why I do so much philanthropic work. That's why, you know, the people, like, you know, sometimes like Black entrepreneurs get a bad rep about not paying people that well. Like, I make sure I overpay. You know, I want to make sure that the people that work for me are very successful and very comfortable. You know, I want to see people, that's what legacy is all about, right? Is really laying the foundation for others and helping others succeed. And so that's something that I'm truly passionate about.
You gotta measure success by how many people around you are successful too.
110%. And I think now, like, for me, I'm just not caught up. Like, I used to be very caught up in the perception of success. You know, I think that's why, like, people aspire to be Forbes 30 under 30, or they aspire to have a lot of Instagram followers and things like that. The wealthiest people I know aren't on these lists. The most successful people don't have social media that I know. You know, that's a real thing. And so I think really getting back to the basics of, am I happy? Do I have peace of mind? And once I have that, how can I help others get to that place too? Honest.
Hey, brother. I'm so glad that we could go from LA with GoPros to live at Google.
Yeah.
Everyone give a round of applause for Everette today.
Here are 3 ways you can support. 1, visit our website. Continue to watch and share our collection of ShineHard conversations. 2, register for our annual conference, the ShineHard Summit. 3, make a donation. With your support, we can provide access to spaces, access to information, and access to capital for the next generation of young Black leaders.